पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्. By the infinite grace of Lord Krishna and Sri Ramakrishna, we have endeavored to study the Bhagavadgita in depth in the light of the Shankara's commentary. So we have already completed the 45th verse of the second chapter, that is Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna Nirdvandvo Nityasattvastaha Niryoga Kshema Atmavan. Traigunya Vishayaha Vedaha. All the Karma Kanda section, the section dealing with only rituals and the pujas and other secular activities, they are all under the realm of the Trigunas. That is why that part of the Veda is called the Traigunya Vishayaha. But you have to transcend these three gunas. Nistraigunya bhava. The Shankara says you have to become desireless. Nishkamaha bhava. So the meaning of the Nistraigunya is you have to transcend the three gunas. You should not suffer in the realm of the samsara, and you should transcend it. That means you should become completely desireless. In order to become desireless, you have to become nirdvandva. You should not be attached to the dualities of life, like the victory and the defeat, cold and the heat, etc., etc. Nitya sattvastaha. You should be ever steady in the purity, always established in the Atman or the Brahman, always established in God. Have a goal in your life, always try to attain that goal. That is what is meant by the Nitya Sattvastaha. Niryoga Kshemaha. This is a very peculiar idea for us. Yoga Kshema. Yoga means accumulation. The whole life is spent in accumulating things and protecting them. Protecting the things we accumulate is what is called the Kshema, and yoga means the accumulation. So niryoga kshema. So don't do it. Avoid this action of accumulation and the protection of the things. Always be happy in whatever you have. Atmavan. Atman, established yourself in the Atman. Be steadfast. Don't commit any mistakes. Apramattaha bhava. This is what Shankara explains. Be steadfast, don't commit any, don't have any pitfalls in the spiritual life. Always be vigilant and always follow the spiritual path vigilantly. This is the meaning of the 45th sloka. Now we shall take up the 46th sloka. I think we have touched upon it. We will study it in detail. Yavanartha udapane paruvata samprutodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanataha. This is an allegory, this is an illustration. In order to understand this sutra, we have to create a imaginary scene for ourselves. What is that? So there is a flood everywhere. Of course, this is a time of floods. Bangalore, we have floods. In Chennai and other parts of Tamil Nadu, we have many floods. So the whole area is flooded. But in that area, there are some small tanks or the wells also. The small tanks and wells also serve the same purpose. So we can go and drink water or bathe in that. But when the whole water is flooded, we will not go to the well or the tank. It is with the whole flooded water everywhere serves that purpose. So the what is meant by the flooded water, which is seen everywhere, it is the knowledge. That means the knowledge of Brahman, knowledge of God, that will give all kinds of bliss or the pleasure, the happiness, and that the small enjoyment, the small pleasures of the world give. That the small pleasures and the enjoyments are included in the bliss we get out of the God or the Atman or Brahman. This is the idea. So this same idea you will find in the Upanishad also. So Taittiriya Upanishad says, what is Brahmana Ananda? Brahmana Ananda means, suppose we live for 100 years, we have many pleasures of life, we become happy when we get the desired things, all kinds of happiness, all kinds of pleasures, infinite in nature. You cannot compare them with the Brahma's bliss, the bliss of Brahma, Brahma Ananda. They are all included in that. In fact, the Taittiriya Upanishad says, Brahmana Ananda, the Ananda of Brahman that we derive, the very small amount, very minute amount of it we will get in this world. The external happiness, the external pleasure is only a very minute portion, very minuscule portion of the Brahmananda that we derived from the realization of Atman, Brahman or the God. So God is Ananda. This is a very important factor. So in our literature, in Upanishads, God is characterized by three qualities. You cannot say qualities, they are all the very sum and substance of the Brahman. Brahman is Sat, Brahman is existence, Atman is existence, and Brahma or Atman is the Brasattu Chit, knowledge, pure consciousness, as well as Brahman is Ananda also. The Ananda aspect of Brahman is taught in the Taittiriya Upanishad. That means whatever Ananda we feel, small happiness, kinds of happiness, minute happinesses. I took a delicacy today, I am happy. I am happy on seeing my friends or relatives coming to home. And this kind of joys, happiness, small joys, all these are but the fragments of the Brahma Ananda. So why we should waste our time in getting these small portions of the joy when we can get the infinite Ananda itself? That is the meaning of this shloka. Let us go to this shloka. It is a little bit difficult. Yavanartha utapane sarvataha samplutodake. Artha means utility here. Udapane means the small reservoirs of water, like the well, tank, etc. You have that utility. Some utility you get out of them. In the olden days, they used to take bath or they used to get drinking water. And all these are utilities you get in the small reservoirs of the water. Udapana means the small reservoirs. The same utility you can get in the water which is flooded everywhere. Sarvataha samplutodake. So this is the allegory, this is the example. So in the same way, tavan sarveshu vedeshu. In the Karma Kanda section, there are many rituals and sacrifices are instructed to get some lokas, to get some pleasures. So there are two kinds of pleasures, one iha and amutra. The pleasures we can seek in this world and the pleasures we seek in the some other world like heaven, swarga, etc. The means is to do some yajna, some rituals as instructed by the karma kanda portion of the Vedas. And this is what is meant by here Vedeshu Sarveshu. And all the actions, all the rituals, all the pujas are meant to have some kind of happiness, some kind of pleasures that is external nature. It is not something inside pleasure. Pleasure we get out of our own Atman. No, we try to get pleasure of the external things, the worldly things, maybe things of this world or the things of the next world. So these kind of pleasures are instructed in the karma kanda portion. And all these are included in the Brahmanasya Vijanataha, one who is the knower of Brahman. What does it mean by that? One who knows the Brahman is filled with Ananda. That Ananda, as Sri Shankaracharya says in his commentary on the Taittiriya Upanishad, it is not the sensual enjoyment. Generally, we get the enjoyment out of senses. There are objects of senses. By hearing, by seeing, by touching, we get some joy, we get some experience. That is what we call joy. So this is not Indriya Janya Sukha, the Sukha which we derive out of the senses. It is Brahma Ananda. It is Atma. I am the Atman. Atma itself is Ananda Murti. The Atman's joy is infinite in terms. It had no beginning and no end. So here another very interesting thing is, I am happy. The happiness is a quality of my mind in the empirical sense or in the ordinary sense. But in the case of the Brahman or Atman, Brahman itself is Ananda. Brahman is not different from Ananda. Atman is not different from Ananda. That means I will get the realization or experience. I myself is Ananda. I don't need the help of any external object for my happiness. I myself is Ananda. I am Ananda. I am infinite Ananda. Ananta Ananda. This experience is compared to the water, flooded water, which is seen everywhere. In that, you will have, in that same space, the area, the big area, you may have the wells or the tanks. And the utility you get out of those wells and the tanks, you can get out of the flooded water, which is everywhere. This is the idea conveyed in this shloka. So in understand this, we have to have the background of the Upanishads, like the Taittiriya Upanishad. There is another Upanishad quoted by the Shankaracharya himself. There was a great sage called Raikva. Raikva, this character, this person appears in Chandogya Upanishad. The Raikva's happiness, Raikva's knowledge was compared to the wealth and the glory of a king. A king has got innumerable wealth, but Upanishad says it is nothing compared to the Raikva's knowledge. Raikva's knowledge includes all the pleasures a king has got. That means there may be a huge amount of happiness the king may be deriving from his pleasures, from his power, etc. But it is all included in the Raikva's knowledge, the knowledge which Raikva has got. In fact, the king goes to Raikva, the sage, and says, "O sage Raikva, I will give you the kingdom, half of the kingdom, as well as I will give you my daughter in marriage. You please teach me what knowledge you have got." This is the glory of the knowledge. So this shloka is also the glorification of the Brahmajnana. Brahmajnana or Atmajnana is far, far greater. The knowledge of God, realization of God is far, far greater in terms than all the worldly pleasures we get out of this in this world. In the Taittiriya Upanishad itself, there is a comparison. Suppose there is a king, a very young man, he is getting all the pleasures of the earth. This is nothing. But if you go to the next loka, maybe Gandharva loka, 100% of it, 100 times of the happiness you will get. So there is another loka, higher loka, 100 times of the previous loka. Then it goes on like this, and in the end it is said, Brahmana Ananda, Atma Ananda is infinite times. There is no comparison at all, not even 100 times or 1000 times. Infinite times greater, intense than all the worldly pleasures you will get in enjoyment, you will find in all the lokas. The highest loka is called the Prajapati loka or Brahma loka. That Atmananda, Brahmananda is infinitely greater than the one joy one derives in the Prajapati loka also. So all this background. So when we study Upanishad, it will be better for us to understand the philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita. By studying the Bhagavad Gita, you can appreciate the teachings of the Upanishad better. So the study of Bhagavad Gita as well as the Upanishad, they are complementary to each other. That is why, and another mantra, Upanishadic mantra, Shankaracharya quotes, I think it is Bhagavad Gita shloka itself, it comes later, Sarvam karma khilam partha jnane parisamapyate. So the results of all the works. So I do some work, I will get the result, I get some money or I get some happiness out of it. Next I will do another work. So I will do thousands of work. Every day I am doing work, I am getting the results. But the results of all the works, the happiness we derive out of all the works, the benefits we get derive out of all the works, all our endeavors in this life, everything you will get in a fraction in the Brahmananda. Sarvam karma khilam partha, all the karmas are merged in the Brahma jnana or the jnana, they all culminate in jnana. The end point, the culmination of the entire endeavor of the human beings, all human beings, that culminates in jnana, that is Brahma jnana itself. It is the greatest place to, it is the greatest experience to have because it includes all. So there is another interesting aspect of this teaching is our realization, the idea of realization of God, idea of God is all inclusive here. It is something contradictory to the idea of God you will find in the Semitic religion like Christianity and Islam. So God is not inclusive there. God is otherworldly. God is different and the world is different. God is ruling the world. That is the idea of Christianity you will find in Christianity and Islam, and even Yahoo in the Jewish religion also. But in the Indian religions, Hindu religion, God is inclusive. The very first mantra of the Ishavasya says, Ishavasyamidam sarvam. Everything is covered by God. Everything is God. So God, the world is God, and God even transcends the world. God is something high, even nobler than this entire world. So what is our idea of the world? Hundreds of galaxies, thousands of what you call the suns, the moons, etc. All include the world. The God has become the whole world, and God is beyond that also. Swami Vivekananda has summarized the whole teaching of the Upanishads in just two phrases. God is within and God is without. God is within the human being and God is without. God is external, God is inside. You take anything, take solar system, our solar system, Milky Way. God is within the Milky Way, the God is outside the Milky Way. Take any example of the galaxy, Very big galaxy or the cluster of the galaxies. God is within that and God is outside that also. Say God cannot be bound, is not bound by any boundaries. God is everywhere. It is God which has become everything. So many philosophical derivatives you can you can get from this wonderful shloka that sarva yavanartha udapane sarvata samplutodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanataha. With this knowledge in mind, as I told you repeatedly, karma yoga is not just the action we do externally, it is the attitude, it is the wisdom. That's why Krishna says it is yoga. Yoga means the wisdom in our mind. With that wisdom, with maturity, knowledge, we have to work. And how to do work? Krishna teaches us in the next verse. It's a very famous verse and also is a very controversial verse also. Let us see it. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma hela pheturbhu ma te sangostu akarmani. There are 2-3 divisions we had to make here. We had to break this text into 2-3 parts. Karmanyeva adhikaraha te to you, karmani eva adhikaraha. I will just mention the exact meanings of the words, then I will try to explain the significance. Te to you, as far as you are concerned, O Arjuna, you have right only in karma. You have to do action. Ma paleshu kadachana. Kadachana means in any case, at any point of time, you do not have right, you cannot claim, you do not have any claim over the results of the work. You have the right to work at any point of time, kadachana, at any point of time, you don't have the right or you cannot claim over the results of the work. So this is the meaning of the first line. Phaleshu, karma phala. Then, ma karma helu heturbu. I have no right over the results of the work. And why should I do karma then? Why should I do karma? See, there is a problem here. If we hanker for the results, results will be good and bad. If good and bad results, you have to enjoy the results. So in order to enjoy the results, you have to be born again and again. That is what is called samsara. So don't become the agent of the karma phala. Hetu means the agent or the cause or the factor of the karma phala. That means by hankering for the results, don't become the cause of the karma phala. Karma phala means again and again. If you want karma phala, you have to be born again and again. This is the idea. Then, ma sangostu akarmahi. It doesn't mean you should give up the work also. Akarmani, in not doing work, you should not be attached to non-performance work also. So there are 3-4 ideas. They are a little bit difficult. I will repeat once again. First one is te, to you. You have right only to do the karma. That is the first one. And you should not be attached to the results of the karma always, at any point of time, ever. You should always be doing karma. You should not be attached to the results of the work. That is the way to do the karma yoga. This is the second point. The third point is, don't become the cause of the karma phala. Don't become the cause of the results of the work. If you hanker for the results of the work, if you desire for the results of the work, you have to be born again and again. that is what is called samsara, that is what is called the ignorance. Be a knowledgeable man and transcend that state. This is the idea. And last one is, at the same time, let you not be attached to the non-performance of work. You should be continue to do the work. So I have told you the four ideas. Let us take up the first idea now. Karmanyeva adhikaraha. Oh Arjuna, you are not a wise man. You have not realized that Brahman. You have not reached that state where you will feel everything is Brahman and I am Brahman, etc. You are still in an ignorant stage. So you have right only to do karma, but you have to change the way you have to do karma. That is the only way for you. Karmanyeva adhikaraha te ma phaleshu. While doing work, while continuing to doing work, you should not hanker for the results. Shankaracharya says, karma phala trishna ma bhutu. Don't develop hankering, craving for the results of the karma. Sometimes the results will be good, sometimes the results will be bad. If you hanker for the results of the karma, you will be eternally, you will be immersed in the samsara, and you have to be born again and again to get the results of the karma, to enjoy the results of the karma. That means punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, etc. That is samsara. As spiritual aspirants, we don't want to be born again. We don't want to be enmeshed in the samsara chakra. We don't want to be in the state of ignorance. We are here to transcend that state of ignorance and reach the God. If we hanker, if we crave, if we desire for the results of work, we will be ever be born again and again and again. Because there is an invariable relation between the desire and the janma that we have to understand. Though it is difficult, generally in the platform like this we don't discuss, but it is very essential to understand. When we desire something, we do some work. That is what is called karma. Without desire, nobody does work. So the trishna or the asha, trishna will lead to karma, or the kama will lead to karma, the desire will lead to kama, and you will get the results out of it. You may not have that much of lifespan to enjoy the results of your work, and then you have to be born again. So you will have the next janma. So Shankaracharya puts it beautifully. Avidya, due to ignorance, kama will develop. Avidya, kama, due to kama, due to desire, one does work for gaining something, and results of the work, and for the result of the work to be enjoyed, one has to be born again and again. Avidya, kama, karma and janma. So from avidya, kama is produced, from kama the karma is done, and from karma to reap the results of the work, we have to be born again and again. Krishna doesn't want us to be enmeshed in the samsara chakra. That is why he says, you are not yet eligible for the pure knowledge, yet you go on doing the work for the sake of the Lord. Shankaracharya, though he is an Advaitin, clearly says, Ishvararadhanartam karma. Dedicate every action to the Lord. So there are several components in the work. One is the agencyship. I am the doer, dedicated to the Lord. I am not the doer. O Lord, you are the doer. I am only nimitta. I am only an instrument. I am only an instrument of this work. The real doer of every work is the Lord and Lord alone. So giving up the agencyship. Second work, the work itself. We do every work thinking it is my work. That is the problem. That is called ahankara. Give up that. It is not my work. I had to work for my family. I had to work for my welfare. I had to work for my well-being. I had to take care of my children. Everything is okay, but it is not your work. Don't be egoistic. Don't get attached to the work. It is all Lord's work. It is all Lord's work. We are doing sannyasis work in the ashrama, that is Lord's work, and working for the welfare of the family, working for the welfare of the society, working for the welfare of the nation is also Lord's works. Everything is Lord's works. There is no difference of secular and the spiritual here. Oh, this what Swamis are doing, monks are doing in ashrama is spiritual work. What I am doing in my home, in the family life is secular. Nothing of that sort. Krishna teaches here everything can be spiritualized. Everything is my work, the Lord's work. It is not your work, oh man, it is my work. Think it is Krishna's work I am doing. When I am taking care of my family, when I am protecting my family, when I am helping others, everything is God's work. So I don't have agencyship. I don't think it is my work. And lastly, I don't think this is result of the work. Whether it is good or bad is mine. It also belongs to God. The God is the giver of the result. I have no hand in that. I have no relevance. I have no part in getting the results also. Whatever God gives, that is efficient for me. So we have no role in the work at all. Everything is God's. Agencyship, it is God's work. The work itself is also God's work. It is the God who is doing, and the results also belongs to God. This is what is Karma Yoga. This is the crux of the Karma Yoga instructed by the Lord Krishna. So, when we develop desire for the work, we will become the cause of the karma pala. That is what is told in the next line. Ma karma pala hetur bhu. Hetu means cause, agent. So, when we don't have desires, we will not become the cause of the results of the work. When we have desires, we will become the cause. And that means we will become the reason why this janma, the karma palas, we have to enjoy. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. When we don't have any craving, when we don't have any desire, we will cut that knot of the attachment. So whatever may come, the good or bad, we will become detached and we will dedicate everything which we call ourselves to the Lord and all Jordan. That is why Krishna says in the third idea of this sloka, ma karma hetu pala heturbhu. This is very, very difficult verse, but it is a very, very important work. At the same time, don't get attached to the non-performance of work. You have to do the work. You have to continue to do the work with the only goal to attain the sattva shuddhi, purification of the mind. Why I should do work? For the purification of the mind. How I get the purity of the mind? Doing all actions dedicated to the Lord and the Lord alone. Then when I get the purity of the mind, I will get the eligibility for the knowledge. Because at this moment, O Arjuna, you are not eligible for jnana. That is the problem. So you should continue to do the work. So don't get attached to the non-performance of the karma. So though it is a very, very famous shloka, it is, as you can see, it is really very difficult to understand also. Because the common idea among us, especially the young, especially the young people who are striving, who are in the world, who are striving hard to build up a career and make money and make their presence in the society, they all are hankering for something, the results of their work, money, prestige, status, etc., etc. When Krishna says, you have no right for the results, actually we get hurt. How it is that I am doing so much work, I am putting on so much hard work. How Krishna says you have no right for the results? This is very difficult to understand. So when I explain this sloka in some other place, some other occasion, I used to give an example. It is easier to understand. Suppose you are working in a company, in a corporation, you work very hard, but you cannot claim promotion or the increment. It is in the hands of your superior, your boss, whether to give increment or the promotion or not. You have to work hard. You have the right to work very hard. But it is the pleasure of your superiors to give the increment or the promotion. So there is Ishvara, there is God who gives the results. It doesn't mean you will not get the results, you will get the results. But that results are far inferior according to Krishna. Don't crave for that result. There is something higher than that. What is that? Purity of mind, spiritual advancement, dedicating everything to the Lord, spiritual realization that is far, far greater than all these results you will get out of doing work. That is what Krishna says. Krishna is showing the higher goal for us. The highest goal of spiritual realization. If you can give up the petty results of the work and continue to do work as dedicated to the Lord, you will get the spiritual realization itself, spiritual advancement itself. That is why don't crave for the inferior and the very mundane results of the work. That means we have to aspire for the best. We have to aspire for the highest. That's what Chandogya Upanishad says. There is happiness only in the highest. Bhuma eva sukham, nalpe sukham asti. There is happiness, there is bliss, everlasting bliss, only in God, only in Brahman, only in Atman, not in the ordinary things. This is the meaning of the Krishna's message. It is not that Krishna will not give you anything. Instead of giving the results like money, prestige, status in life, Krishna will give you abundance, spiritual joy to you. That is the difference between service we do in ashram and the work we do outside. There are many people, hundreds of people come here, our volunteers do service here from morning to evening. Why should they do? We don't give a penny anything. We don't give money. They will not get any prestige or status in society by serving here. No worldly benefits they get out of working here, and why should they work? They get joy out of it. That is what is called spiritual joy, spiritual happiness, spiritual benefit. That is what we want, because we are all spiritual aspirants. Krishna instructs every one of us to strive for the highest and not limit ourselves, not limit our goals to the petty results of the work like money, status, name and fame, etc. I think this is the relevance of this beautiful sloka to the modern contemporary society. But at the same time, we should continue to work. We should never stop the work. In whatever work we are doing, ethical work, the work should not be an unethical work. It should be a good work. But we should continue to do the work. At the same time, our aspiration should be for the highest realization of God and God alone. So work for the God's sake. Don't work for the money's sake or for the sake of worldly benefit. This is the essence of this verse as I have understood. The next sloka we will go now. Yogastaha kuru karmani sangam tektva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. So Krishna says in the earlier sloka, you continue to do work. Don't work for the results of the work. Simply you have to do work. You should not talk work. How to do such a work? Is it possible for us? Even when you are hearing this lecture, you try, you want something, some result out of it. You want to get benefit out of it by listening to this lecture or the class. Oh, don't expect anything, come and listen. Oh, nobody will come. We expect something. Then how to do work? Such a work. The next shloka tells us how to do such work. The earlier shloka says, don't do work for the sake of results. How to do such work where we don't expect anything and continue to do the work? That method of work, the mode of work is explained in this verse. So this is an introduction to this verse according to Shankaracharya. How to do that? I will tell you now how to do this work. Yogastaha kuru karmani. This is the first idea. All the works you work established in yoga. He has not yet enumerated what is yoga. It is karma yoga. But Krishna has not yet explained what is yoga. He simply says, established in yoga, do all kinds of karma. He will say, within few minutes you will understand. That means, do every work for the sake of the Lord, but don't expect that the Lord or the God should be pleased with you. Even that desire also you should give up. So we do every work in our office. Boss should be pleased with me. If boss will be pleased, he will increase my increment or give me promotion. With all kinds of desires we do work. But at the end we will be disappointed. Boss will be very much pleased with you, but he will not increase your increment or give promotion. That is the tragedy of our lives. Even that desire also I don't have. Don't expect anything. That is the state of bhakti the Gopikas had. What is the difference between Gopikas' devotion and the devotion of ordinary people like us? Gopikas did not expect anything from Krishna, even the mukti also. Gopikas expected only the joy of bhakti, that's all. The presence of Krishna they should feel. Always we should feel the presence of Krishna, and we are getting immense joy out of it. Just by the presence of Krishna, what we call the Krishna consciousness, we don't want anything else. They are completely unselfish in their bhakti, in their devotion. Krishna wants us to do work in that manner. That is what is called yoga here. Let Lord will be pleased, and He will give us something. Even that kind of expectation also we should not have. Shankaracharya says beautifully, Ishvara me tushyatu iti sangam tektva. It is also a kind of attachment. Let the Lord be pleased with me. That is also an attachment. Even give up even that attachment. No attachment. I will do the work. I am enjoying the work. I am enjoying the work because I am doing every work for the sake of the Lord. Lord and Lord alone. I do not even expect the Lord should be pleased with me. Even that expectancy I will not have. Then what will happen? When we continue to do such work, we will become pure in our mind. That purity of mind, Krishna tells about this purity of mind later, it is called Sattva Shuddhi. Sattva here means mind, Shuddhi means purity of mind. What is purity of mind? No anger, no desires, no enmity, no hatred, nothing, no jealousy. Mind will be completely free from all kinds of passions, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, no egoistic tendency. It will be in bliss. It will be transparent like the mirror or the water where the reflection of God will fall. That is the only way to get the knowledge. So that is what is called siddhi here. Asiddhi means failure to do so. Krishna says even siddhi and asiddhi, I want to have spiritual realization. I will feel very bad if I don't get it. So siddhi means spiritual achievement. Asiddhi means failure to do so. Even that attachment you should give up. Siddhya siddhyoho samo bhutva. Consider spiritual achievement and the failure to do it also as equal. Don't be worried about it also, because the Lord Krishna will take care of it. Sri Ramakrishna will take care of it, your future. Don't worry about it. That means even in the normal circumstances, whatever success we get, whatever failures we have to face it with equal mind, equanimity, samatva. Samatva is having the same state of mind at the time of failure as well as in the time of the success. Same state of mind. Shankaracharya extended this idea. Even with the spiritual achievement and failure to do so, you should treat both of them as equal. That is what siddhya siddhyoho samo bhuktva. Why? Now the first idea. What is the first idea? Yogastaha kuru karmani. You should be established in yoga. Krishna now instructs what is yoga. After have instructed us, siddhya siddhyoho samo bhutva, Krishna says, samatvam yoga uchyate. This is what is yoga. Equanimity is yoga. Equanimity, same-sightedness, seeing everything is equal, failures, success, heat, cold, happiness, misery, all dvandvas, same-sightedness. Not to get perturbed at all. Tapasyanandaji Maharaj, one of the great translators of this Gita, has translated, he says, unperturbed evenness. Evenness, always maintaining the same state of mind, unperturbed. That is what is yoga. So when we understand samatvam is yoga, then it is very easy to understand why Krishna is asking us not to crave for the results of the work. Don't crave for the result of the work. Establish yourselves in yoga. Consider siddhi and asiddhi, success and failure, even in the spiritual field, with equanimity, equal state of mind, because samatva itself is yoga. Samatvam yoga uchyate. So in that samatva yoga, you should get established yourself. So this is how Shankaracharya, with great erudity, wonderful scholarship and spiritual insight, explains this verse of the Gita. If you don't do it, what will happen? Next verse. Durena hi avaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhau sharanamanvichha krupanaha parahetavaha. O Arjuna, why I am insisting on doing every karma, establishing samatva yoga, the yoga of equanimity. That is what is karma yoga is. You know, Durenahi avaram karma buddhi yogat. Hey Dhananjaya. Dhananjaya is a name to Arjuna. Krishna is addressing Arjuna as Dhananjaya. O Dhananjaya, buddhi yogat. Compared to this buddhi yoga, the samatva yoga itself is buddhi yoga, because we are doing work in with the wisdom in our mind, with maturity, with intelligence, with the knowledge. That is why it is called buddhi yoga. Shankaracharya explained buddhi yoga means samatva buddhi yoga, which is taught in the previous verse. So it is very difficult to understand a verse as a standalone verse. We have to always take the help of the previous verse to understand the next verse. That is how we have to study the Bhagavadgita. You cannot just take one verse from the Bhagavadgita and try to understand. It is not good. It is not advisable. You should study the verses in sequence, because the next shloka, next verse, is always influenced by the ideas of the previous verse. Here, what is buddhi yoga? Suddenly, buddhi yoga word has come. You have to take the help of the previous verse in order to understand this. Oh, samatvam yoga uchyate. That is what is called buddhi yoga here. Samatva buddhi. I am doing all my actions with equanimity in his mind. That is what is called buddhi yoga here. Compared to that buddhi yoga, karma. Karma means ordinary karma, doing every action with attachment, with aversion, with anger, with desire, with jealousy, with all passion. That is ordinary karma. Compared to the buddhi yoga, the ordinary karma is far inferior. Avaram, durena hi avaram, dura, far. It is not the Bangalore and Mysore distance, Bangalore and San Francisco distance, dura. So, durena hi avaram. It is just like Mount Everest and the Chamundi Hill. Far, Chamundi Hill is nothing compared to the Mount Everest. It is far inferior. It is not inferior to some extent, it is far inferior. Durena hi avaram. Buddhi yoga, karma yoga is like a Mount Everest, and our doing work with attachment, aversion, hatred, anger is just like a flat surface. I think I have given a pertinent example. Durena hi avaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya. Therefore, O Krishna, take shelter in buddhi. Buddhau sharanamanvacha. What is meant by take shelter? Do it, perform it. Try to practice buddhi yoga, karma yoga. Give up ordinary kind of work. Don't change the work, but change the attitude of work. Krishna never instructs us to change the work. Actually, he is asking or instructing Arjuna to do the most evil of the work, that is to fight and kill the people. Even in that work, you have to do with buddhi yoga. So, the fighting the war should be a buddhi yoga. So, compared to the war, all our works are really good, really easy to do. So, all our work should be transformed into buddhi yoga. So, we have to take shelter in buddhi yoga, buddhi. Because when we take shelter, why we should take shelter in something? Suppose there is a rain, tremendous rain, Bangalore rain. You go inside the building and take shelter to protect yourself from the rain. In the same way, there is evil in doing ordinary kind of work, because you will always be restless, you will always be attacked by passions like kama, krodha, etc. And your life will be miserable. You have to be born again and again. And you will be always in the state of ignorance. You cannot realize God, you cannot know God if you continue to do work in that way. So, in order to protect yourself from the evil consequences of samsara or the transmigratory existence, take shelter in the buddhi yoga or the buddhi. So now we can easily understand what is buddhi here means. Buddhi here means samatva is the buddhi. The equanimity told in the previous verse is what is called buddhi here. Or the other meaning is have a higher goal, highest goal, the realization of God. Atmajnan, Brahmajnan is my real goal. I will do every work to reach that goal. That is also another meaning. Buddhi means here Atma Buddhi, Brahma Buddhi, that also can be understood. But the last instruction is very important. Krupanaha phalahetavaha. So we are all phalahetavaha. A lecturer, when he is lecturing, he expects some good response from the audience. And afterwards he may be expecting some money also. So for every work, we expect something. Expecting. Whole life is nothing that's expecting. Today is very bad. Tomorrow it will be better. This month is very, very bad. Next month will be better. This year is too difficult. Next year it will be better. Next year will never come, which will be better. Maybe next year will be worse than this year. Always we expect something, desire something, and we get into trouble. And such people are called pitiable people, krupanaha. Actually, the literal meaning of the krupana is miserly people in Sanskrit. But in Upanishad, Yajnavalkya teaches Gargi in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Yova yetadaksharam gargi aviditva asmat lokat prayiti sakrupanaha. O Gargi, this is a wonderful opportunity. This life is a wonderful opportunity to realize God, to realize Atman. If one leaves the body without realizing God, without realizing Brahman, and such a person is a krupana. So in Sanskrit, the synonym is given Dina, pitiable person, one who has to be sympathized. So if you crave for the results of the work, ordinary results, crave for the highest, aspire for the highest. Don't crave for the petty things of life. So if you desire only for the petty objects of life, you are really pitiable fellow. You will be. That is why, O Arjuna, my advice is don't crave for the results of work, only aspire for spiritual advancement, purity of mind and knowledge and realization of God. This is how we have to do work. This is the mode of work, the conduct of the work Krishna teaches in these beautiful verses. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.